pretty slick when I did it. Was it last year? No, year before. And you had it show me where all the results were.
Yeah.
And you file them, you can bring them up so easily.
Yeah. It's nice to be able to bring it back up and take a look at it again. So,
But I don't want to spend a lot of time discussing it,
right?
especially when,
With the kids?
yeah, because I'm hoping that if these are review questions, that, you know, but if I see 8 kids that don't know, you know, the same answer, then that tells me then I need to spend more time on that. Or if I just have 2 kids that need work on this, you know, what I'm thinking, I don't know. Does that make
See, then
sense?
I get into where I need to know how you, for a lot of the stuff, you know, give me an explanation, tell me why, and it's like, you know, how do you take that?
I don't know.
Well, there's a lot of different ways, so, and I'm not a guru with this, so we'll use you guys as resource people besides, because you've used them. The first piece, as far as registering, I usually go up here to the view and browser, because I like to use this page browser in order to do things. And you have all kinds of descriptions here of how to get into each of the pieces. And there are handouts over here that Mary has printed off, so I don't know, all of you guys I think are using expressions. So whatever you don't want to use, we can,
4?
yeah, we'll see what you want to use and what you don't want to use. I should have said something earlier, I just wasn't thinking about it.
Good.
Yeah.
See, I thought about not coming because our meeting got canceled on Thursday after school, which is why I wasn't gonna do Thursday.
Oh.
And I thought, Teresa, just go, because then you don't have to go Thursday.
Well, you never know what'll crop up along the
Well, I'm
way.
leaving town Friday, so, one less thing to do.
And that way you'll have some time after school to get ready for leaving town on Friday. If we need more copies, I can go get some made or whatever. Which one?
Once they're registered, we shouldn't have to register.
You shouldn't have to register again, but in case Katie needs to know how, since you're new to the system and what's there, then we'll walk through that so you're aware of how to do that. There's 2 different kinds, especially there's an active vote and there's an active expression. And the active expression is what you have. It has the keypad on it. The active vote is more like 2 or 3 choices, I think.
That's what I have.
Oh, you have the active vote?
I have the other one, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
All right.
have
So
this
did you, now there's a different registration process, handout, whatever.
We have the active expression, don't we?
These are active
Me
expressions,
too.
and they're set up for Spanish. They can
So you do
the
have,
accents.
you don't have this kind, or you do have this?
I don't have this kind
I
either.
think Mr.
Okay.
Renster has the old kind, but then we'd have to re-register his.
I believe these are the kinds you guys, because these are the active votes. They look like eggs. Let's see how they're kind of.
This is what.
Oh, so you have it like this one?
Yes.
Okay, all right, so they're still called active expressions. They're just a different model.
Okay.
Okay, the younger elementary has what they look like eggs, and they don't have as many choices on them, and they're active votes.
Gotcha.
So I just want to make sure you have the right handout, so we
Sorry.
don't lead
Yes.
you astray.
Same one, different version.
So what is this then?
That's a newer version of active expression.
Okay.
Yep.
It's the one that will do Spanish.
Yeah, with the full keyboard. So I take it Lynette went to get more handouts went on, maybe. All right, so page browser, just in case you need to review that, that's under view and then browser. And these just open up different things for you to view. I like the browser because when you get your data results, like what you were talking about after a quiz, it'll show up in the bottom of this browser. And so for me, that's easier than trying to remember what menu to go and look for. But you can turn it off when it's in the way. They have all kinds of shortcuts here, but you can just hit that and then it disappears and it's out of the way. Or you can go into browser, and then if I remember right, there is you can pin it somewhere or you can minimize it. Let's see. There's your floating, so you can pull it anywhere you want. And to do that, I simply went to, right next there's a pin, and then there's a little, looks like a clipboard next to it. And it gives you a choice, so you can move it out of the way. If you want it even down at the bottom or float around and get out of the way. Okay, on the right, there is a voting browser. This will tell you which ones are being turned on. They'll light up. So if we turn them on, and they automatically turn off by themselves after a
Yes,
period
would
of
Austin
time.
please come to the office?
So then-
Thank you.
We just hit the,
Okay, what turns it on?
Down the bottom.
the
Lower
little
right-hand
circle, bottom right hand
Bottom
corner.
right hand.
And mine's not coming on. I thought this always lit right here.
I always do it from the little circle on the thing,
You do it from which
from the
circle?
circle, from the symbol on the screen.
You do it from here, on
Yeah,
the
the
fly.
ABC,
Okay.
and then it should come up.
Okay, that's when you're actually doing it on the fly.
Yeah,
But as far as showing these when they come up, these should light up when they're actually turned on, and I'm not
Yeah.
seeing that. So we'll figure out why in a little bit, I guess. And I'll just hit stop. Clear out that. And then you have different ways to register these. That's why I opened this. So right here, and I got that by doing this little piece right here on the far right-hand side. You can go to the left-hand side where it says device registration. And then you'd actually go through and see how many are registered. So here, it tells me, do you have 21 of these actually in your kit?
I believe so.
Okay, so that's telling me that all 21 are registered. So the first thing you'll want to do is go in there and check that. And if they're registered, you're good to go and you don't have to worry about that. If not, we can clear it and do a registration. But rather than go through all that process, when they know how, we'll wait till a later time on that. Just give me your Marion email and we'll do that. That's how you would check that. Okay, you can also do assigning students to devices. And I know Alma uses this, where she clicks on this and she can actually assign each one to a device. So they pick up and their name comes to that device. And that way, instead of getting numbers in the results, she gets their names. And so that's another option that you can go through. And you can put in a PIN number that they type in and it brings up their name. So that's another feature that's available if that's what you want to go to at some point. So let's do an on-the-fly quiz or result piece. And like you were talking about, this is called an express poll. That is done by using this toolbar over here, and it has a question mark right here, and it looks just like the express poll down here. So you click on that, and it brings it up. You click on it, and it takes it away. And that's the on-the-fly. Then you have, once you circle over it, you have the ability to do a ABC, 1, 2, 3. You can do a combination of giving 4 answers or 2 answers. So what I did is I chose ABC, and you can, you can then enter the text and type it in. Let me stop here again. Or I can just go right into here and say I want 4 responses, multiple choice, and there they are. And you can give results of you verbally, because you guys usually do it verbally, right? As far as on the fly, ask a question, they give an answer? No?
I do.
Okay.
Well,
Or you do it different than that?
Well, the brain bot gave them.
The question.
Yeah.
And then all they had to do was pick from the 4 results by typing in A, B, C, or D in here. And then it would come up here. So in your handouts, and what did I do with my handout? This part of it would be on this little handout that's skinny like this. It's a 2-page handout. And I'm going to stop this one again. So I could do a yes/no question, and I believe that's what they're showing you here, that you have all kinds of different questions that you can go through for different choices. This is registration here. You can do a simple yes/no question and say true or false, And then you verbally tell them the question, and then they simply put a T or a 1 and or 2 in here for true or false.
Is there any way though, when you're on the fly, that you're going to get their results?
When you do this, I hit stop because I'm done, that's this red box. And if you want them to retry, you say yes, otherwise you say no. And then at this point, you have the ability to see like a summary of results. So just to show you what it looks like, let's just go.
For 10 questions?
On the fly, these are each going to be a separate question.
Right, that's what I mean, so.
Yeah, you won't see all the results because you can't keep
Right, I
asking
know I can
questions.
see each question right then and there.
Right. And I think you can actually save the results of each.
Okay.
Like we can paste this one right here, you can paste the results of this question into a document. And then go to the next question and then paste the results of that in. So on the fly, unless you really need the results, it's more of ask the question, see the results,
Right.
discuss it, and move on from there.
Okay.
For what you're talking about, I think the pre-planned
Right.
would work a lot better. Self-paced, I think they call it. Okay, let's try one of these so that you get a chance to see what it's like with them. So we're going to do a true-false question, and let me go back here and hit true-false. And all you have to do then is to look up here and, oh, how do we switch these from Spanish?
Okay, hit the
Or-
menu and configure, it says, comes up register, configuration, and diagnostic.
Okay, the menu is the button that
Has
is
like
right here.
the lines on top.
Yep, 3 lines on it.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you said,
It comes up register on the first line, and then configuration is the next one. So, select in the lower right-hand corner, and then they have language, and then you have to hit select again and move it up to English.
and select is always the yellow or orange colored button on the right-hand side, correct?
Yeah,
So go.
it says
You want
seleccionar.
configure or
Yeah,
register?
configure.
We want
Configure.
configure.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then
select.
you want to salir, which is to leave, and it should be in English then.
No.
No, it's not. Ooh, okay. Menu. I got falso or,
Oh, that worked for me.
It did for me. I did exit twice. I should probably try to do this closer to the camera so that when we watch these. Okay, so I'm going to go to menu. And I don't think they'll be able to see this. And then the arrow down wants to set up. And the select is on the right-hand side. And then we do to select that language change, we hit select again. Then we arrow up to the language that we want. And I'm going to leave it on English. You hit select, and then you hit exit on the left, and then exit again on the left, and we're now back into English.
what's the second one? I've got
Did
mine.
did it arrow down? It didn't arrow down for you?
Okay, configure.
Yeah.
And then what? Select.
Okay, so you did that. Again. And then arrow up to English. And then select again. And then now that says English, we hit exit, and then exit. Now we're into English. Okay, so now, because we started this, because I'm on red, then we're to the true false here. Right? Everybody's got true false?
Mhm.
Okay, so we're on the same spot. And you either arrow down or arrow up, depending which one you want. And then you just hit select.
What's the question? Never mind, I will select.
And then, then you say send. And now you see the ones that sent answers. So you as a teacher, if you know you have X amount of students that day, you can figure out quickly. Or if you assign them. Like I think, don't you say you do the first few,
Yeah.
and then the next class you do from the
start
end forward?
and you can click off those that aren't going to be used using your mouse there.
Okay. So when you say we click off, what do you do?
Go up to the numbers and just click on it.
So if we don't have this
Yeah,
one,
so then one is not going to answer.
and that way you visually don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, then you don't, because otherwise it won't come up automatically. What it's, yeah, if you had all
You
the
have to
rest
go
of those
stop it.
off, then when 3, 4, 5, and 7 came up,
Mhm.
then it would, your answers would come up automatically. So if you want to click off all those other ones,
Will that stay for each question?
yeah, that stays.
Then we know that only the ones you want answered.
Yeah, and
are
then
gonna-
your answer will come up now automatically, see?
The results, gotcha. And then we have
You
your
can
choices.
hit to see who answered what, if you horizontal bar graph, then who answered what. See, and then by the number, you can tell.
Is that
I
where
don't
you
know, I've got number 6. So,
Is that where you could change it to their name if you wanted to?
If
if you want-
yeah,
if you did
right
that
now they're
prior
based
to
on
this.
the number of items.
Oh, I see,
device.
on the side, okay.
Yeah,
I
or
don't
if
know
you
if
had
it's
them named,
I've got
Five
number
people.
6 on here, but 6 isn't there.
oh, there's a bar, well, maybe there isn't. It looked like there was a bar there. Well, let's go back to the original and see 50/50. I don't know, summary then. 3, 4, 5, 7.
I'm 4.
I'm 3.
7.
Fine.
Did we jump the gun before you had a chance to answer? Or maybe it didn't come in?
Well, I thought,
Oh, because you were doing this too?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So there's
oh,
my
so,
form.
yeah,
So
so
now
I
you lose there.
wasn't in on it.
Okay, let's try a different question. We can do, let's do a 3-question.
Okay, put
Because
me
you
back on.
X
Put my
out.
6 back on.
There you go.
There you go.
Now we'll get the answer in there. So then we could verbally, or you could even have a Word document ahead of time too if you wanted to, if you didn't want to have to try to remember. Because didn't you do that a couple times where you wrote them up, Barb, a question that you wanted to answer?
Mhm.
And then, did you do a flip chart and show them? Or did you just have it written ahead of time so you knew what you wanted to ask them?
No, I think I had them typed on there, but I don't remember how I did it anymore.
Okay. Because it seemed like it was displayed and then you just read it off or you talked about it with them. Okay. So whatever's convenient, because you could do a flip chart, you know, each page,
I have a flip chart for the beginning of the year, please.
and then you'd be able to just show the page that had the question on it, and then have them answer, and then their results would get up here like this. So let's ask a question, is your favorite color red, white, or blue? So it'd be A, B, or C, red, white, or blue.
What I often forget to do is give them a question, forget to put that back up again.
To get what back up again?
The numbers so they can answer. I'll ask them a question and tell them, well, you have to start it first.
Oh,
Oh.
for this question right here.
We're all ABC.
Do we all select the same question? Or same answer?
I just went with A.
Alright, with C.
And I said C, so how come?
We're saying we all from ABC.
You chose all
Because you went ABC on the, you went multiple
Oh,
choice,
I
but you
went
went
sort in
ABC
order.
text.
Yeah. Instead of multiple choice.
You weren't in multiple choice.
Right, I was in sort in order. 'Cause that makes a difference here. When I went down this way, you had to put them in a certain order. This one, you have to make a
You
choice.
just like on texting, like we were gonna text it in. Right there.
That's what I use the ABC for texting in. I
Yeah.
have to write in words.
You have to write in words.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to
ABC.
do words rather than A being red, B being white, and
Yeah,
C
I've
being.
never done that. I don't
Okay.
know how that works.
All right, so let me end
Who's
this
number
again.
7?
Me. I texted in the answer.
Okay, so let me try this one more time. Make sure that I do it. You're talking about use this one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I use.
And then your favorite color. And we'll just give it a wide range. You don't have to have one or the other.
And they're all going to show up. Let's read.
any color?
Any color that's your favorite color.
I'm putting my least favorite color in.
Who's number 5, the overachiever? No?
Oh,
4? 5? Oh, there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 5 of us, right? All right. So now we've got the results. And then who answered what, that's where we can get
oh.
the colors and the numbers displayed if you need to know who.
Are those like the time it took for them to answer? Is that what those times are? Like
There.
seconds?
Oh, that is
In the box?
Yeah, the
Okay.
seconds of how long, and I believe you can do it this way too for pacing, but I'm not seeing it there, so we must not have recorded how fast. And then the summary giving you,
You would have to
There it
freeze
is.
your projector if you wanted to see the results only, correct?
if you don't want the kids to see the
You would
results.
have to freeze it and then go look
Yep.
and then close it. Okay.
Yep, because it automatically kicks up, you don't have any choice of.
Because
whether
if they
this
know
is
who it
what-
is, they're gonna know
Know who
who
answered
answered
what.
Well, that's one way to stop them from putting silly things in.
Well,
We can go back and find out. Yeah, and a couple times I've had to make them, okay, you're not using this now. You write out your answer. And that only takes a couple of times, and pretty soon you're
Paying.
tending to business here. Yeah. But they'll do silly things. They'll do silly things.
Especially the first time.
is this saved automatically somewhere?
On the fly,
That-
it's not.
Okay.
But up here, this place right here, like here, this is identifying the correct answer. This one is WordSeed, that what puts it into the flip chart, so if you wanted to save the flip chart with the results, it would automatically put it into that page of the flip chart.
Okay.
And this one you can paste in, and if I remember right, I thought it allowed you to copy and paste in. Let me see if I open a Word if it puts it in there. I haven't used that one for a while.
That word down below, so you must have it.
It isn't pasted in the flip chart.
Well, I did this one, which is supposed to paste the results, but it's not pasted into the Word, and I thought it did. This one takes it right into the flip chart, which is, see, that's in the flip
Oh,
chart. So it
okay,
went
sure.
right into whatever page we had. And you don't even have to create the page ahead of time. You could just add a new page as you added another question. And that way you have your results based on whatever you had displayed here. So if you had it up here like this, it would paste that into the flip chart. So, and in your, I'm not referring to your handouts very good here, there should be another one in here as far as the type of questions that you could use. Like on the back side there. And then it switches up to the third page is the one that you guys were talking about doing ahead of time. So that'll be the next one we do. But the first two pages have to do with the front and back of the first page deals with Beyond the Fly that we just did. And then the second page has to do with preparing them ahead of time.
This still isn't the self-paced quiz.
We're about ready to go.
Okay.
This is
Okay.
all on the fly.
Okay.
How many characters can you type in a text? Do you know?
I've done sentences,
Like one sentence or?
4 or 5 words I think I've done.
Yeah, you know, I don't remember.
3 for sure. I know I've done 3 or 4 words.
It takes a while, I would think.
You want to test one? Give us a short sentence.
Yeah, let's just do a text and see. Let me get a new page here. So we'll do a texting again, and then we can type something that is relatively long and.
What do you want us to, anything in particular?
I'm just writing this as a test to see how much I can type, and we'll see when it's, cuts us off. I think we can do quite a few characters. I haven't gotten to the end, or.
No, I didn't capitalize. 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm going to put in 6 words. They're short words. It's going to take a lot of space the longer your sentence is.
Okay, I have
Doing
2 full
something different.
sentences without capitalization, maybe a few typos. We'll see if it actually
kids have different choices, like 10 or 11 different answers, and they'll show them all the different answers.
I must have filled it. Did you stop it yet?
No, I have not.
Okay, I must have filled it, which I could probably get a couple sentences.
Okay.
Because I filled it with 2 sentences, and then I started randomly just hitting letters just to see how far I could go. And so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Well, it'll show
7
up.
lines probably,
Okay.
somewhere in there. I'm gonna hit send. It's got a little funny, but so quite a bit. So I could do explain how you got your answer.
Yours is the bottom one there, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So that's quite a few. I mean, I don't really care to count all those,
No, but
those.
you could at least get a
Characters,
couple
but-
sentences.
Yeah, you could get a couple sentences in text.
Who's meeting score today?
I am.
Woohoo!
So it's,
All right, so let's go back to, I'm gonna close this one. Hi.
Hello,
Yeah.
can I come in and get garbage?
Yeah, it's right there.
All right, so I'm gonna turn this off by hitting the blue question mark, and that takes the express off. And then we're referring to this second page where you have a new flip chart, okay? The front page was the express poll, we're now in the ones you can do ahead of time, which is the second page of that. And we're gonna go to the insert, and then we can do this a couple ways, but let me see if she's doing it through that way. Yeah, insert questions. Now, there's a couple different ways to do this. Some type it right over here on this side, where you can add a question. And then the type, you can choose what kind of question answer you want to give. Like, do you want to give them yes, no, multiple choice, that type of thing? Or, like we just did, text question. So if you want a text question, then the question comes up over here also. This is the way, when I do it, I prefer it.
That's what you showed me, and then you have to mark, you have to put in your choices, right?
If you're on multiple choice, you have to leave it, I mean, you have to give options. Like right here, over here, I changed it to text, but it didn't transfer over to here. So if I want them to type in an answer like we did, I'd have to go to text. And then I would have to fill in my answer.
Correct
here.
answer, and then your choice.
So you might have to be, like in a date, you'd have to stipulate words or numbers, or, because it'll only take what the computer understands. So that one might be a tough question to answer that way. And then if you want a time limit, so Teresa, when you're talking about maybe only allowing them 5 minutes or 3 minutes or whatever, you could set that here and it would shut it down. Otherwise, you can stop it when you're ready to stop it. And then you could have follow-up questions, which we're not talking about at this point. So let's do the multiple choice, because that seems to be the most commonly used. And let's go with a different question here. Give me a question you guys would be able, something short.
You wanna use that prime number one, or is that too many
Sure.
options?
Okay, so what is a prime?
Well, no, it would have to be.
Which one of
You
these?
have to
Which of
get
the following is a prime
prime
number?
number. You have to remember to click off the ones that you're not putting choices with.
Right, so if you only want 3 answers, that's what you're talking about. We have to close these bottom
Close those
3.
boxes on the side. Get them out of there, yeah.
Yep. And then option 1, what do you want to put in for numbers?
11.
Okay. Option
12.
2.
10.
And then you have to check mark the one that you want.
Okay.
So 11, right?
Correct.
Been a while since I've been doing those. Number of responses required, so you only want them to have one answer. Assign correct number, and that's because we did the correct answer already. And then you don't have to do a follow-up question. And then we didn't do anything with the templates at the bottom, right, Barb, when you did it?
Oh, no, we had to do something with plain text. We had trouble with that at the time. Yeah, I think we had to click on that.
And click on plain
I
text.
think so. Well, it's been a while, but I think so.
What happens here is if you pick these other ones, the information falls into those templates. So you have to practice with that a little bit, but we'll do a plain text there. And we don't want to apply yet because, and I think that's where we fell into the problem, is when we hit apply, it thought we were done, right? Or we had to.
I think we had to hit apply but not click done till we were finished.
There you go. Now, the reason I remember that is because we have to remember on a self-paced test, every page is a different question. Okay, so that's why now when you go here, we go to question 2, we have a new question, we can go type it here. What would you have for another question on your little mini quiz?
What is the square root of 25?
When you're bringing back in.
Do they all have to be multiple choice?
No,
Okay, so each question can be a different
yep,
one.
each one can be different. So if I click over here to indicate, and again, that's my preference, I like to deal with things over here. You want to give them a multiple choice again, or you want them to type in the number,
Let's go text.
okay?
Just do the number.
And the correct answer, 5. And assign the correct answer, that would be that correct answer. Now, if you're worried about case sensitivity, you would want to make sure, like if some reason it needed to be capitalized or not, or then we'd have to worry about that. And we're going to apply. We're not ready to do test properties or anything. That's when we get ready to save it. And that's why we had troubles. We had to do the apply, or this test properties didn't show up. So we're going to apply. Let's do one more question. You got a question for me?
Sure.
Okay.
What is 8 squared?
Whoops, helps if I spell it right. Alright. And your choice, multiple choice, or do you want to go text again, or
Text again.
text again?
60.
Okay, so we got 3 questions, we're gonna save it. We wanna put a title in here so we know what the test is called. So maybe like, is there a certain chapter entrance
Unit
slip?
1
or-
is called.
Okay, unit 1. Just so we remember what it is. So you can put a brief description there, I'm just gonna leave that alone. If you wanted a time limit, 5 minutes is, you know. Allowing the students to navigate the question set. Do you ever do that with Barb, with yours? Okay, that allows them to go back and re-look at some of the questions. So if you don't want that, leave that off, and that way they can only go through it and then they're done.
We have done that once. Yeah, we have done that once.
Were they allowed to go back and look to see
Yeah.
and change answers, or answer questions if they skipped them, things like that?
What if will it allow a student to skip a question?
If you allow them to navigate, they can go back.
I think
even,
they could skip and go back to it.
yeah,
Even if you didn't mark that?
I think so, because this one down here allows students to retry incorrect answers. That depends on whether you want them to go back and answer questions like that. Do you want to try it once with both things off, to see what they're allowed to do? Okay, and then we still have plain text, which means we have no backgrounds, no colors, any of that kind of stuff. And we apply. We have 3 questions. And we have the type of questions, and then we should be able to say done. And now, in order to run it, we actually use this go. I was trying to think about browser, so you can see. And open these things so you can see when they come through. Alright, so we should see, when I save this, right now it's untitled.
Oh, there it is up there.
Okay, if I go to save, I would want to save this as a test and then bring it up just like a normal flip chart.
So
Okay.
when you put the title in the first time, that didn't necessarily...
Didn't save it, just gave it a descriptor or a name that they'll see. So let's do a save as. Can I save it to your desktop? Would that be
Sure.
okay? Just so we And we'll just put unit 1, just so you can see the difference, I'm gonna say entrance slip. I hope I spelled it right. And I'm gonna put it on our desktop. Okay, here's the file name. And if I minimize this, it should be right here. So I'm back in. This green button will actually start the quiz for them to answer. And so if I hit the green button on your, whoops, mine's off, on your active expression,
Oh.
you should be seeing the first question.
Mine shut off.
Yeah, just hit the power button.
I'm just gonna put the wrong one.
You're seeing the teacher's information.
Oh. So if you would get one wrong, what would it say on there? Oh, like that, the X.
There it is.
Oh yeah, I forgot, select. And then to move forward, you have to hit send to be able to.
Oh, so it shows an X when you get it wrong.
So if you didn't put a time limit on it, it wouldn't be
This
moving
is
that
what Beth
quickly?
uses.
No more
Did anyone,
questions.
did anyone skip one? Or
Oh,
you can't,
let me
I don't-
skip one.
Are you able to?
No more questions. Did it tell me that I'm done? What's my number 3, I think? I think it stopped us, didn't it?
I have no more questions though.
Yeah, mine says no more questions,
So
so
maybe we
apparently
don't
it
have it.
stopped. And then the nice thing about this is it's showing you how long each student spent on each question. And then the red indicates the wrong answers, I would guess.
Scroll down on the right side there. So that shows what I did right there. I was number 4.
4.
Now, how can you save all this?
It will actually, when we go to,
Print? Can you print one?
this one will actually paste it in. This one actually puts it into a graph so you can see the results. And if I remember, I'm going to minimize this, but if I remember right, it brings it up over here. And I'm not seeing it.
I think down
Yeah,
below
it's
it's
down
working.
below on the left. You gotta do something with that before you can.
Okay, well, let's close this. But it should show up right here, that's why I'm, there it is. Okay, so this is the results. So I hadn't closed it, that's why I couldn't find what I was looking for. And then, when you save this, it will always be there. So if we save this, we could run the quiz again and have a second results. So let's save this just so you can see how that works. I'm just going to do a save on the original. So this one I could actually view the results or go to or delete it, whatever. But let's hit the question one more time. And now you see we're all done. And we could sort by question number for the entire class. And you could do only incorrect. Or you could sort by number 3, order answered. I mean, there's all kinds of, you can see how long, which ones are incorrect. We apparently all said the correct answers this time. So we didn't get much of results there. And this tells us how long you
How
spent
can
on
you
each
close
question.
that again?
If you close it again, it's going to put it right here. And you can see they're time stamped, so you know which one was when, and date stamped.
So this isn't a self-paced quiz, but it definitely keeps your result.
Yep.
This is what that is.
So this is self-paced, that they can take as long or short. You can set
I
it.
didn't think this was self-paced. Oh, this is. Okay.
What we just did is, because they can answer each one as quickly or as slowly as they want.
But this was set up a question in advance, right?
Because you're setting it ahead of time. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And then the only way to run it, because that's why this is blank, That's what freaked us out the first time.
Yeah.
Remember that? We opened it up and it's a blank sheet of paper and you're going, where's my questions? I know there's
That's
questions.
my
How do you
complaint.
go
Why
back and
is it
edit
so
your
complicated?
questions?
Why are there so many steps?
To go back to your questions, if I remember right, you go back into insert and questions take you there. There's
As long
another
as
way.
as long as you're on that.
As long
Well,
as you have your first one open, right?
it does, as soon as I open, in other words, if I
But
save
if you
this-
open a new flip chart, brand new, it
Yeah.
will not take you directly to
To this
your
one.
old one.
No, okay, so you're saying if I go to new, flip chart, okay, I have two of them here. If I clicked on this one and saved it, I'll do a save as with a 2 so that we don't place over the top. I could close this one and do whatever I want on this one and go back in and open,
And go find it.
and here's our results. And it doesn't look different, but it is because as soon as I hit that, you're gonna see the questions.
But isn't the results from 1 and 2 together?
Because I put them together.
Oh.
If I open, I'm getting impatient here. Okay, close that. Well, I can leave that one open so you can see the difference. I'm gonna open the first one, which was this one, and it only has one set of results.
Oh,
And then the second one, because I named it different, has both results.
And then if you close both of those,
Yep.
and you would go to insert question,
I'm not gonna have questions.
you will not have,
Because I'm in a
you have
brand
to
new
have
flip
that
chart.
flip chart open in order to go back and,
It's just like opening a file, you know, if you did a test in Word and you have to open that, then you can edit the questions. But it always opens to a blank sheet of paper, so it's confusing at first. At least it was to me when we were working last year.
The year before, already.
Was it the year
that long
before already?
ago. Yeah, because I couldn't do it last year.
since it's on your desktop, if you double click on the icon on your desktop, do you have to have your ActivInspire open?
So if we go to here,
Okay.
what are the kinds of questions? We're kind of getting to our time limit. I don't want to go beyond. I mean, we have a few minutes because we started late, but we want to make sure we address what kind of questions or concerns you guys have or ways
I
you want to
like
use
how
it.
you just save it to the desktop, because then it's a quick way, obviously it takes you right, it opens ActivInspire and it takes you right to that quiz.
It's taking longer though.
It always takes longer the second time we bring it up. It
Yeah.
just takes forever.
Well, because there's a lot of data in there. And I wouldn't make a practice to put it on your desktop, but for the
Oh,
one
okay.
day that you're gonna do the entrance slip, that you're actually gonna execute
And
it,
how do you get it off your desktop? Now that it's open.
now that it's open. I could, now that it's open, I could just go to File, Save As, put it where I need it, like in the folder that you keep all your flip charts.
Okay,
And then, once you've done that,
can you do that?
you
one?
just delete this? Sure.
Oh.
I mean,
see.
I would just delete off, or you,
Is it going to say replace the one that's already there?
if you already had one that's there,
But
Well-
right now they aren't in your documents. It's on your desktop.
Oh, so it won't say that to me? Okay.
no.
But if you
But as
have-
long as
It
you
won't
name
recognize
this.
that it's on my desktop and delete it from there? Okay.
But what we could do is go to computer, or in this case, to Barb's documents. I won't put it in there for you, but, and you could use a right mouse click. And if I drag it in here, it should give you the choice of move to or copy to. And if you say move to, it's like cutting it off the desktop and pasting it in. And so you'll remove it from the desktop and
And
put
if
it
you
in.
copy it, then you're gonna have it both places?
You're gonna have both places.
And if you delete it off your desktop, it still stays in your documents, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So I guess I can move it, you can always get rid of it. But see when I right clicked, see the difference there? Now I can move it. Okay, I don't remember which one I did, probably the bottom one, I think. If I say move, see how it's gone now? Yeah, on the desktop. So like when you were talking about doing a quick 3 question entrance slip or a review or whatever, if you had it on your desktop just for that class and then move it off of there, but I wouldn't get in the habit of it because you know, then you have a desktop that takes forever to log on and all
So
that.
I just want this there.
Yeah, you could create a shortcut, like right now, I could create a shortcut from here, doing the same thing, do a right click from it. You know, if I saved it in my documents, and I do a right click, right clicking and dragging it, it'll give me the choice of a shortcut, which means it's just pointing to it, it's not actually the whole file there.
It's just gonna put it on.
And then you can leave it there. And it's
that's
gonna have
just-
this little
That's just
arrow.
for that quiz though.
Right.
Oh,
But it'd be
But I'm
for
just
that
thinking, if you're
day.
prepping for
You don't have to go
tomorrow,
find
you
it.
want it right there, easy to see, a shortcut would be awesome. Versus going to your files
Or
or
a sub.
Or for a sub, yes, that would be awesome. Then they don't have to look through your documents to try to figure out which one you're trying to get.
So when they click on that, it's gonna take you right to
These two are gonna act exactly the same, but this one doesn't contain all the data on the desktop. So Bill, Mary, and I won't chew at you for putting it on your
It's
desktop,
not taking up room.
because it's not, you
It's
know
just a
how
quick
when we
check.
log on, log off, it takes forever because of the
Okay.
transfer? This won't hurt anything, where the top one has a lot of data. So, are we answering? what you
I'm
want?
good.
Do you feel a little more like
Yeah,
you might
I
be
feel
able to
that
try
this is, we had this when I student taught.
Oh,
It's just a little,
looks a little different.
it was like an older version, so it had the same, it was a different format, but I understood, like, this is where you write your questions, and here's all of your options for your answers. It was just a little bit more user-friendly, I thought.
Okay. Stuff. And the handouts are, if you guys want to keep them, by all means, go ahead. I'm sure they're probably posted on Mary's website too for them. Oops, apparently